All right, so the very first thing that I did to create this card was I created this little vellum piece. Now, I've stamped on vellum before and it's never dried. So this time I had a piece of inkjet printer vellum, and this vellum is made to go through an inkjet printer so you can print on it. So I went ahead and I used that and I stamped with Memento, Tuxedo Black, and then I let that dry for a couple hours and it became, you know, the ink stayed. So I didn't want to go out and buy another ink pad that I probably wouldn't use, but I know there are inks that you can stamp on vellum with, but I didn't have that and I didn't want to go out and buy any. So I used what I had. And then I went ahead and I just used my colored pencils, and then I just went ahead and colored just a little bit the logs, just a light brown, and then the flames. And so I put that aside so that that could dry really well as we move on with the rest of the project. Now I have my two pieces of paper here. This one is 11 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall. And this one is 5 1/2 inches wide by 3 1/2 inches tall. Now the first thing that we want to do is score. So I will grab my little score tool here, or my scoreboard, and we'll zoom you guys in so you guys can see. Now on the long side, I'm going to score at 1/2. So 1/2, try to get that in there. I'm going to score at 2. I'm going to score at 4 and 5 1/2. Again, 1/2, 2, 4, and 5 1/2. And then on the smaller side, or the small paper, on the longest side, I'm going to score at 1/2. So 1/2. Guess I got to hold that. So 1/2 and at 2. All right, so I'm done with the scoring board. Now the thing that I found works the best is if you go ahead and you burnish your score marks or your score lines. So I'm going to take my bone folder here and I'm going to make sure that those are nice and crisp. Just run them over there. So there we go. Let's do this one. And this will make sure your little box card stays up nice and straight. All right, there we go. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've taken my smaller piece of paper, and the score lines that I created are at the top. And I laid my stamp down, and this is Fireplace 1 from Anthony's Papercraft. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. I am using my Tim Holtz stamp platform. So we will pick this up. And I'm going to be using Memento Tuxedo Black. And we will stamp this. Ink it up really good. And stamp it on. And now all I've done is made sure that the stamp was in the center of that cardstock as best as possible. Push it down. Let's see how that did. And we'll do one more. And I'm using the texture side of this cardstock, so I wanted the stamping to have a little bit of a texture side to it. And the beauty of the stamp platform is if you don't get a great impression, you can do it again. So let's go ahead and stamp that down again. Let's do maybe one more time. It probably looks good on camera, but I can see it needs a little bit more. Let's go ahead and do that. and I think this will be good. Yep, that'll do it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one to the side to dry. And I am going to wipe off my stamps. So I'm going to wipe off my stamp, and then I'm going to load the other cardstock, so I will be right back. All right, so now we're going to be doing some stamping on the longer piece, and we're going to be stamping in this square here. So it's basically 1, 2, the third square, and in this direction. So I want to tape off. You can use Post-it tape. I'm using washi tape, if I can find the end here. And I'm just going to mask this off so that my stamp doesn't go over. It's not the end of the world if it does, but thought we would just try as best as possible. Let me move this off, and we're just going to tape that as best we can, like that. Like that. Okay, that is good. And I want to do the top also, just in case. Like so. That looks good to me. All right, let's bring everything back into camera. All right, so I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to lay it up a little higher, and I'll show you why in a minute. And I'm going to make sure that the flat end on the left is up against the platform here. And I'm going to add all my little magnets. All right, so now I'm going to be using stacked packages from Anthony's Papercraft. So that is going to go right here. And I want that centered as best as possible. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Like about that. And I can turn it to check. That looks about right. All right. So let's have the platform pick this up. All right. And again, I'm using my memento. It's upside down. You can't see it. The memento. And we'll stamp this. Again, I'm using my textured side up, so I may have to stamp this a couple times. But I really like the look of the way the textured cardstock looks, so that's why I'm using it. Perfect. Let's do one more time for the presents on the bottom. And I haven't inked up or re-inked my ink pad in quite a while, so it's possible that my ink pad needs to be re-inked as well. There we go. I'm going to say that that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up everything. I'm going to allow the ink to dry because inevitably I will smear things. So let me go ahead and clean up and allow things to dry a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead, I've allowed my ink to dry, and this dries pretty quick. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out the contour of the fireplace as best as I can. I don't like using X-Acto knives. They kind of scare me, but let's see what we can do. And on these corners, I'm not lifting up. I'm just kind of pivoting. So I apologize, I'm off screen a little bit. I'll move up a little bit. And we'll just kind of go around like so. And the arch probably would give you the hardest point. There we go. That looks good to me. Gone ahead and cut that out. Save that for another project. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right behind here and line it up as best as possible. So I just kind of want it even. That looks good. And I have some tape handy, and I'm going to go ahead and just tape that down. And I thought I'd use tape, that way I don't have to worry about glue and any glue issues. And this last piece of tape that I had is a little bit too long, so let's get a little less piece. There we go. If you have a piece of tape that's sticking out, just go ahead and cut it off. There we go. All right, so now I have my vellum that is shining through. Looks kind of cool. Perfect. All right, now we're going to tape this guy together. So I'm using my score tape today, or any type of double-sided craft tape will work. And the first thing we want to do is put tape on this side. And I'm going to close this guy up and put him away. All right, so let's find the end of this. And I want this side to be real crisp, so I want it there. And if I had some thicker tape, I would have been using it, but I don't have thicker tape, so I'm just going to use 2 strands here. And cut the excess off if you get too much. So we'll take this one off. And we'll lay another one down on top of that one, just so that we have a really nice taped edge there. Pull that off. All right. So fold this down so our presents are at the very bottom. Fold this guy under and press. And we got a box. Ta-da! All right. Next one. We're going to put our tape here just like I did on the other one. So we'll put our tape here. And I'll take this guy off first. And then I'll lay the other one down. On top of that, like so. Perfect. And I want one at the bottom here. Like so. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is adhere the bottom. So let's take off this adhesive liner. All right. Now I want this just to be, probably for this design, it depends on your design, but I just want to go down just a little bit. Like so. In the center of your card as best as possible. And now I want to push this up So the entire thing I'm pushing up. I'm bending this part down so the second score line is folded in like that. And then we're going to glue this. So let's just take our tape off and push down. And now we got our little box card. Ta-da! It'll fold up to go into an envelope. Perfect. Cute so far. All right, so now I have these little stockings that I stamped, colored with colored pencils, and fussy cut out. And these are little stockings from Anthony's Papercraft stamp set, which is the Christmas mantle set. I've gone ahead and added a small, you probably can't see that, a small little foam dot on the back. And we're just going to hang them on our chimney. So we'll put one there maybe. And one there. And one about there. All right. Cute, right? I love it. And now, dun 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 dun, we have a battery operated tea light from the dollar store. You push the bottom. You guys probably can't tell in the video, so I will make sure that I show a screenshot with the lights out when it gets dark. I'm filming during the day right now, but it does kind of glow, this tea light. And of course yours is going to be standing up like this, but you obviously can't see that in the video, so I'll show you later. But the tea light is going to go right behind the fireplace and it'll glow. And it looks a little bit like the fireplace is glowing. Let me zoom in there so you guys can see it a little bit. And that looks really cool. Super quick, super easy, and to me, I think it's a wow factor. So hopefully you guys make this. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye guys.